Hi, everybody. I wanted to give you a little rundown of today's lesson in case we went too fast. I know we have some limited time. Today we talked about the Virginia Plan. And today we're going to talk about also the Constitutional Convention, in which all the states came together to try and create a stronger government, and the Great Compromise, which is when they all tried to come to an agreement about what the Constitution should include. So let's quickly review the Articles of Confederation and a couple of those weaknesses. So, one weakness was the government structure. So today we have three branches of government that make sure the other branch is doing their job, but under the Articles of Confederation, there was only a legislative branch or Congress. So what that resulted in, like we learned last week, is that Congress could make the laws, but there wasn't anyone there to enforce them. So the states could basically pick and choose what laws they wanted to obey. They did not exactly want to become a nation. They were just proud of their state, and they wanted more of a state constitution. But we're going to talk about how our country moved towards a national constitution. So government can be a little hard to understand. So I kind of broke this down. We're going to talk about these three branches that were wanted in the Constitution. And I'm going to show you on a smaller scale. So let's talk about our school. All right. So let's think of it this way. Let's think of the teachers in our school as the legislative branch. So at the time of the Articles of Confederation, this is the one branch of government, and all they do is make the rules of the classroom, just like Congress or the legislative branch made the laws for the United States under the Articles of Confederation. So that's all fine and dandy, but we would run into the same issues in our school. There wouldn't be anyone there to enforce the laws, which is why we would need an executive. So we would need someone to enforce the rules, not only to oversee the students, but also to make sure the teachers are doing their job and following rules. So think about Mr. Boxey, like our executive branch. Just like the states needed someone to enforce the rules, a president, we need a principal to enforce the rules in our school. But that's not all we need. We also, in a country, would need someone to interpret the laws and decide what's lawful or not. So thinking about our school has teachers that make classroom rules, a principal that enforces them. But when rules are broken, we need a judicial branch in our school, someone that comes up with consequences, that is really knowledgeable about the handbook and knows what breaks a rule or not. So at a bigger scale, the country needed someone to interpret rules and decide what broke a law or not. They needed a judicial branch or a court system. So these are the three branches that were proposed under the Virginia Plan to balance the power and make a stronger country. So a few ways to remember these. They wanted a legislative branch, think L for making laws, the executive, I always say this in like a deep voice, sound powerful, to enforce the laws. E for enforce too. I guess that would have been good. And also they needed a judicial branch. Think J for judge, like a court system. So these are the three branches that were proposed under the plan. And one thing that the plan also wanted to implement was a system of checks and balances. They wanted to make sure that a branch can't get too much power. Right now, they're too weak of a government with just the one branch. They don't want to become a country that has a king because that's what they just broke away from. So they're going to make sure, now this isn't exactly how it is today, but under the Virginia Plan, that these branches can check each other. So the executive can veto a bill, pass through the legislative branch, and then the judicial under the Virginia Plan could also veto a bill. So not one branch can get too powerful. So in summary, at the Constitutional Convention of 1787, they compromised and included a lot of the elements of the Virginia Plan into the Constitution, which is why those branches of the government looked familiar. So when you get done listening to this screencast today, you are going to go into your agenda and you are going to look at task one. Now, task one has a sheet for the Virginia Plan. Oh, I'm going to close these out. Just a quick review of what we just talked about. And it also has some questions in a journal. This is in a doc, but I have it in a journal for you to make it easier. One question that you're going to need to answer. Next week, we're going to talk about some of the decisions they had to make about the country in the new Constitution. One of those is how long a president can serve. So I'm going to read this question and think about, how long should a president be able to be in power? Do you think that too long would make them too powerful? Do you think that too short a time would let them not get enough done? So I really just want your opinion in number 6. And the other job that you have in task 2, you're going to read an article about James Madison, and he is considered the father of the Constitution. And then you have 2 written questions to answer. Again, they're in a journal, so it just makes it easier. So just make sure you number those and submit those to me. All right, everybody, good luck. Please email me if you need help.